Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to break down how a story is built, not by a single writer, but by a group of people, totally on the fly. We're going to dissect one mission from a tabletop role-playing game to see how planning, character choices, and just the sheer luck of the dice can create a story that nobody saw coming. So, we're going to follow this thing from the very beginning, the initial setup, all the way to the wild, chaotic escape. You'll see exactly how player choices and a few lucky or unlucky dice rolls can spin up an incredible narrative.
Okay, so let's get into it. Every adventure has a starting point, and for our crew of characters, this one kicks off with what sounds like a pretty simple objective.
The goal seems clear enough, right? Find out who bought this van, see what their deal is with this church. But here's the catch. They're on unfamiliar turf. Montgomery is not their city, and for characters like them, that means it's potentially very, very hostile.
And this is the absolute key thing you have to remember through all of this. There is no script. None. Everything that's about to happen is a wild mix of player strategy and the pure, chaotic randomness of a dice roll.
All right, so before any mission, you've got the prep phase. And I love this part because what the players decide to pack for their characters tells you so much about who they are and how they see the world.
You know, a mechanic like this is just so important to the story. It means that the biggest threat isn't always some person they're facing. A lot of the time, it's the monster inside them, constantly clawing to get out. It adds this incredible layer of tension to every single thing they do.
So first up is Alex. And you can tell right away from her gear that she is the practical one. She's not just thinking about the fight, she's thinking about the cleanup, the getaway, and her pigeon, Cash, that's her eyes in the sky. She's the team's operator for sure.
Then you've got Frost, and man, his loadout just screams tactician. He is preparing for war on all fronts. He's got the guns for normal problems, but he's also packing silver and ritual components for, well, not so normal problems. He is clearly expecting the absolute worst. And then there's Gabriel. His approach is, let's just say, brutally simple. A machete. That's not exactly a subtle tool, is it? It tells you everything you need to know. He's a man of action, and he solves his problems up close and very personal.
And finally, Eric. And this is where it gets really fascinating, because he's the complete opposite of everyone else. No weapons. Not in the conventional sense, anyway. His tools are items of faith. This choice immediately creates this amazing tension in the group. He's relying on a totally different kind of power.
So everyone's kitted out, they've got their gear, they meet up with an ally on the edge of town, and now it's time to actually figure out how they're going to do this. It's time to make a plan.
And what they come up with is a classic, right? A two-team approach. You've got Team Face, Alex and Eric, to do the talking, and Team Stealth, Frost and Gabriel, to do the sneaking, plus an Overwatch just in case things go sideways. Sounds like a solid plan.
Okay, so the plan is set. Team Face walks up to the church, but this is exactly where the story takes its first huge unexpected turn. You know what they say about the best laid plans? Yeah, this one hits a snag nobody could have seen coming. So they're invited inside. And this is one of those moments where you can just feel the entire story pivot. They think they're walking in for an investigation, but they're actually walking right into a confrontation that's about to derail everything.
And bam! Just like that, the stakes go through the absolute roof. This isn't just a mission about a van anymore. Oh no, it is now a deeply personal, incredibly hostile reunion with an enemy they already know. The entire game has changed. And this, right here, is the moment where that simple, elegant plan just descends into pure chaos. It becomes a chain reaction of violence, supernatural powers, and desperate character choices.
So the tension outside the church is just ratcheting up and up until Jay unleashes a vampiric power. He looks right at the heavily armed Frost and gives him a direct, horrifying command.
This is just a perfect example of how game mechanics create unbelievable drama. The fate of the entire team, their survival, now hangs on a single roll of the dice. Is Frost about to turn that shotgun on his own friends? It is a moment of just pure, agonizing suspense.
But before that die can even hit the table, another player makes a choice. A shotgun blast rips through the air, shattering the standoff. Alex, the operator, decides this conversation is over.
And then everything just explodes. It's a total cascade of violence. Alex shoots Jay, Jay tries to mind control Frost and Eric lunges in with a silver cross, Gabriel follows with his machete. The plan is gone. This is just a desperate, ugly brawl for survival.
So, Jay isn't dead, but he is completely helpless, which is perfect. I mean, it's a capture. That is, if the team can somehow survive the fallout from having a massive, supernatural gunfight in public.
With their target down, they have a brand new problem: sirens wailing in the distance. The mission has now shifted into its final, most desperate phase. They have to get away.
So let's just take stock of where we are. Technically, mission accomplished, right? They got their guy. But at what cost? The team is completely shattered. Frost is lost to his hunger, Eric's and magically forced to run for his life, and the cops are closing in. They won, but in the process, they've completely fallen apart.
So yeah, they got what they came for. But as they all scatter into the night, broken and hunted, the story leaves us with this one nagging question. When a victory costs you this much, can you even call it a win?